for the love of rim and the power of rim drive technology at its absolute finest, and pre-magnetization done by the best kind known to mankind. Direct current. Think of Thomas Edison and not the great Nikola Tesla. These two recorders are very special. You can see they are very similar in appearance, with a stark similarity in the layout and coloring. Both units sport rim drive technology and are DC bias and from the 1960s, and have the same dark blue color for the covers that go over the reels, and shiny metal vents for the speakers, and even the controls are in the same order: record, play, rewind, stop. Record, play, rewind, stop. Both are manual level control with volume controls that have a white indicator to show what probably is a suggested position to have the control set at when recording for close range voice. Both have handles that have two separate metal pieces that allow the plastic handle to come outward and then push back into place. Both recorders have a little metal piece for remote mic ear. Remote mic ear. So you think probably they have the same design. Let's take the blue covers off. Each has a speed control labeled FS. FS for fast, slow. Let's take a look at the knobs up close. Look at the style of the knob, the ridges on here, and just the general appearance of the knob. Now let's look at the knob of the other recorder. The other knob has a very similar appearance. Though slightly smaller and shorter, it has similar ridges, and it's just very similar appearance. Even the reel tables have surprisingly similar appearances. You can see the reel table in here is rubber coated and has ridges here for decorative purposes. Let's look at the reel table of the other unit. Oh, before we do that, also take note of the style of the thing that holds the reel in place. Then we have the reel table of the other unit. Note it also has the same ridges and also has the same style of spring to hold the reel in place. Both units use a swinging permanent magnet that goes to the underside of the tape, which is unusual. Most swinging magnets go to the same side of the tape that's recorded. One of these units is branded as the Electra TC-501. The other unit is branded as the Ross Dual Deluxe Mark 85. One is 5 transistor, the other 6 transistor. Already, most rim drives being only 4 transistors already puts these in a slightly different category. And although you notice the similarities are quite extreme, which also leads me to think that they're probably both made by the same parent manufacturer of whom I have no clue. The similarities stop when it comes to the rim drive system. On the Deluxe TC-501, it uses a single motor. It simply turns on for playback. The shaft also acts as a brake by pressing up against the rubber reel table, a great way to cause a notch when things are left for a long period of time, which is a horrible design. And rewinding, it simply moves the motor over, and the larger diameter portion allows it to make the reel table turn a little faster. The Electra TC-501 has a speed somewhere bordering 3 3/4 inches per second, depending on where you have the speed control switch set. Here is the other unit. You can see it also uses the motors as brakes by holding the shaft up against the reel table. Again, a terrible design. but this one is a dual motor unit, using one motor for the take-up reel and another motor for the rewind. This unit runs a bit fast, as you can see, unusually fast for a rim drive machine, making for a speed that is around the neighborhood of 7.5 inches per second, which is a bit fast for a 3.5 inch or 3.25 inch or whatever reel-to-reel tape recorder. Makes for very limited recording time, but for considerably better sound quality. Notice the speed of the different machines. Let's put reels on there to make it more visible. Let's hear original recordings made on these machines when they were modern.
Okay, we're picking up Janet at 8:10, Betsy and Martha are spending the night. Joan we're picking up at 8:15, Thula at 12:15, and Susan at 8:45. Jeannie is at Phil's house, we're picking her up at 8:30. Martha's supposed to bring 2 cartons of Coke, ice, and some sandwiches. Beth's supposed to bring 2 cartons of Coke, some ice, and some sandwiches. Betsy is always supposed to bring potato chips, but I forgot my bologna.
Now, Dorks, we're going to give it a trial and see if it runs. Now, Pussy, what do you have to say? Louder. Can you speak up? Can you speak up so that we can get you on the record player? Huh? Come on, speak up. What do you say? What do you say, Pussy? Do you say anything at all? Louder. Nothing? Speak up. You want some food? Go ahead.
Silent night, holy night, all is good, all is bright, when the Virgin Bethlehem child, when the Virgin Bethlehem child. They sing it over again, dude.
And Jeannie's supposed to bring some sandwiches. All right, babe.
When you were only a girl without love and love, I knew you were leaving. You were all alone.
And you can call your own.
I knew you went.
As you can hear, the sound quality is surprisingly good on both machines. The voice recordings sound surprisingly clear and surprisingly low in distortion, which is impressive for lower-end rim drive recorders. But one of these is clearly much better than the other. The Mark 85 has a much better speed stability, running at closer to 7.5, so frequency response is a bit better, and of course any variations of speed are less of an issue. The Deluxe TC-501, it may have not been as apparent in the recordings played back there of voice, but the speed stability of the Deluxe TC-501 has proved to be absolutely atrocious. Another interesting thing to note is I know the recording here was definitely with a crystal mic, and I'm pretty sure the recordings on here were also with a crystal mic. Now you might be surprised by the surprisingly full tone of the sound, considering that most crystal microphones have a tendency to sound very shrill and thin and lacking in bass. Well, if you try to record on these recorders with a dynamic microphone, there is a noticeable difference, an extreme bassiness to the sound, to the point that it distorts because the bassiness is so extreme. I believe these recorders are designed in such a way where they're equalized for use with a crystal microphone to bring out the lows. And if you use a source of audio that has a naturally good amount of lows, it will overdrive the low frequencies and cause it to distort. We'll do some tests with both these machines to show that in operation. Oh, and one more thing. Rewind. You can see the Mark 85 has a nice fast rewind, while the Deluxe TC-501 is slowly rewinding. Another weird thing about the Deluxe TC-501 is the fact that if you hold down the stop key, it'll run the tape at an oddly slow speed. I believe the reason why they designed it that way, it was so that if you're rewinding and then you press stop, it turns it just a little bit to take off any slack. This is a recording on the Electra Deluxe TC-501 reel-to-reel tape recorder using a Shure SM57. The line for the volume control is pointing to the middle. The volume is set to high now, and it's going to be overdriving like crazy. The line is now towards the L for low. Let's see how the sound quality is. With the line in the middle, let's speak at arm's length distance and see how that sounds on the Electra TC-501. We're going to compare that to a crystal microphone. First, we're going to use this kind of crystal microphone. This is a recording on the Electra TC-501 with the round, typical, classical crystal microphone. Then we're going to use the Ross's crystal microphone, which has a bigger element. Now, I don't remember if this crystal microphone went with this recorder or not. I think this went to the Apollo Industries. So, I don't know if the original microphone that went with the Electra was the same style as the Ross's or not. Now we're using the Ross crystal microphone on the Electra TC-501 Deluxe Rim Drive reel-to-reel tape recorder. The speed control is set to fast, the maximum speed.
This is a recording of an Electra Deluxe TC-501 reel-to-reel tape recorder using a Shure SM57. The line for the volume control is pointing to the middle. The volume is set to high now, and it's going to be driving like crazy. The volume is now towards the L for low. Let's see how the sound quality is. With the line in the middle, let's speak at arm's length distance from Electra TC-501.
Wow. Wow.
This is a recording on the Electra TC-501 with the round, typical, classical crystal microphone. Now we're using the Ross crystal microphone on the Electra TC-501 Deluxe Rim Drive reel-to-reel tape recorder. The speed control is set to fast, the maximum speed.
Okay, we're going to try making another recording. The volume is set a bit lower now. Testing 1, 2, 3 with the volume a bit lower. Sounds a bit more distorted. It still makes me question whether those recordings really were made on the onto this recorder originally or not, because the sound quality is so different. Now, the Dual Deluxe one that I showed, I know that was recorded on it.
The volume is set a bit lower now. Testing 1, 2, 3. With the volume a bit lower. It sounds a bit more distorted. It still makes me question whether those recordings really were made on onto this recorder originally or not, because the sound quality is so different. With the volume a bit lower, it sounds a bit more distorted. It still makes me question whether those recordings really were made on this recorder.
Okay, the speed control is set to fast. We're speaking up close, but with the volume is down a bit. Testing, hello.
We're speaking up close, but with the volume is down a bit. Testing, hello.
Okay, that sounded a bit better. I mean, the speed obviously is different between record and play because how crappy this thing is.
Volume
But
a bit lower now. Testing 1, 2, 3. With the volume a bit lower, it sounds a bit more distorted. It still makes me question whether those recordings really were made onto this recorder.
Speed control is set to fast.
gosh, wow, this thing is trash.
Speaking up close, but
Gosh.
control is set to fast. Okay, the speed control is set to fast. We're speaking up close, but the volume is down a bit. Testing, hello.
Okay, that sounded a little bit similar to the recordings of those older recordings. They probably had the recording level set pretty low, because that was the tape that was with this recorder when I got it, and so I'm pretty sure they were recordings that were made on this machine originally. Plus, it had a very common thing that's found with these kinds of recorders is recordings of children and Christmas time, which is very, very ubiquitous. The amount of times I've come across rim drive recorders that the recordings were children singing, and sometimes the children singing Christmas carols, it's surprising how common that is. Which obviously shows that these recorders were commonly gifts for children as Christmas gifts. So anyway, now we're going to do the Mark 85 reel-to-reel tape recorder. First of all, notice the difference in rewind speed and play speed when I play recordings on the Electra on it. Lot faster. What it makes for is much better sound quality. We're going to first record using the Shure SM57 as a high quality microphone example of what this recorder does with a high quality microphone. Also notice the breaking. Very nice. This is a recording on the Ross Mark 85 with a Shure SM57 microphone. The volume control is set with a line in the middle. The volume is now set all the way up. I'm going to do some low volumes. The volume is set to 2. The volume is set to 3. The volume is set to 4. The volume is set to 5. The volume is set to 6. It's set to 7, which is where the line's at. It's set to 8. It's set to 9. It's set to 10, overdriving like a madman. Let's play that back. This is a recording on the Ross Mark 85 with a Shure SM57 microphone. The volume control is set with a line in the middle. The volume is now set all the way up. I'm going to do some low volumes. The volume is set to 2. The volume is set to 3. The volume is set to 4. The volume is set to 5. The volume is set to 6. It's set to 7, which is where the line's at. It's set to 8. It's set to 9. It's set to 10, overdriving like a madman. You can hear it's actually not too bad, even with the Shure SM57, though there is a little bit of bass distortion. Now let's try using the original Ross microphone. I'm recording on the Ross Mark 85 reel-to-reel tape recorder with a volume set to 7, also known as where the line's at. This is a crystal microphone that goes to the Ross Mark 85. Quite something, I must say. The level is set all the way up now with the original crystal microphone. And now the level is set to 4. Let's see how it sounds set to 4. Let's try the other crystal mic. Yo, Boone. All right, let's do the other crystal mic, and I'm wasting recording time here, wasting your time. I'm using the the little round crystal microphone. Testing. Hello, this is Crystal DC bias. All right.
I'm recording on the Ross Mark 85 reel-to-reel tape recorder with a volume set to 7, also known as where the line's at. This is a crystal microphone that goes to the Ross Mark 85. Quite something, I must say. The level is set all the way up now with the original crystal microphone. And now the level is set to 4. Let's see how it sounds set to 4. Let's try the other crystal mic. I'm using the little round crystal microphone. Testing. Hello, this is Crystal DC bias.
You can already hear that the other crystal microphone is considerably less quality. But anyway, this recorder doesn't do a half a bad of a job considering what it is. I also recorded some music on it after first putting it through an equalizer to minimize the bass to prevent it from distorting like crazy. Another thing to note about the Ross Mark 85 is that it uses 2 speakers. Of course, it's only mono. It just drives both speakers from the same source and gives a nicer sound. The Electra recorder only uses 1 speaker, but the cool thing about it is that it's an oval. Here's the bottom of it. It's missing the battery cover, of course. It uses 2 C's and a 9-volt, but since the C and AA have the same length, I could put AA's in there instead. Anyway, that's how it recorded music, with the bass, of course, minimized a bit. I've been digging a lot of Amiga music, and I'm going to be recording some of it onto these machines to give some more examples of how these machines perform with recording music. You can hear the bass distortion is extreme. We'll try the low cut and see how that does. A bit better sounding, perhaps a slightly lower recording level also improved things. Exactly. These reels are too thick and big and it gets caught on this thing. Sad, huh? That one was a little bit better in the sense of not distorting as much, but it could have just been because I had a low recording level. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video of these 2 rim drive recorders and that are shockingly similar, but also very different from each other. This is your host, Goodbye, 2021.
This has been a Cassette Master production.